"Think hard and stand up," said the boy to the girl without movement, "and what happens next will give you chills." Jennifer Miller watched her daughter Emma sitting in the wheelchair while other children ran and played around Waterside Park in Denver. 3 years had passed since the accident, and the hope of seeing the girl walk again seemed more distant with each medical appointment that ended with the same discouraging diagnosis. That was when a boy of about 5 approached Emma's wheelchair. With his curly hair swaying in the wind and a big smile on his face, he stopped right in front of the girl and said with all the conviction in the world, "Think hard and stand up." Jennifer felt a tightness in her chest. Another child asking questions or making comments that only hurt more. She quickly stepped forward, ready to gently steer the boy away, but he kept talking to Emma as if she were his best friend. "I'm Noah. And you?" he asked, crouching down to meet her eye level. Emma, who had barely spoken to strangers in months, gave a shy smile. "Emma," she murmured softly. "Emma is a pretty name. Look, Emma, I know you can stand up. You just have to think really hard. My grandma Ruth taught me that when we think hard, our body listens." Jennifer sighed and touched the boy's shoulder. "Sweetheart, thank you for your kindness, but Emma has a special condition. She can't walk." Noah turned to Jennifer with the same confident smile. "Are you her mom? My grandma also had a special condition. She couldn't move her right arm for a long time, but I taught her to think hard, and now she can do everything again." The boy's words sounded too naive to Jennifer, who had heard so many empty promises from doctors and therapists over the years, but there was something in the sincerity of those brown eyes that made her hesitate before sending him away. "Noah, where's your family?" Jennifer asked, looking around. "My grandma's over there on the bench," he pointed to a gray-haired woman watching from a distance. "She lets me play here while she rests a little." Emma tugged at her mother's sleeve. "Mom, can I play with Noah?" It was the first time in a long while that Emma had shown interest in interacting with another child. Jennifer glanced at the woman on the bench, who gave a kind wave, and decided to allow it. "All right, but just for a few minutes." Noah clapped his hands excitedly. "Great, let's start the hard thinking training. Emma, close your eyes and imagine you're running with me all over the park." Emma closed her eyes, and Noah began describing an imaginary race through the park's paths, talking about the birds flying low, the colorful flowers, and the wind on their faces. Jennifer watched, torn between the tenderness of the scene and the worry that the boy might give her daughter false hope. After a few minutes, Noah said goodbye, promising to return the next day. Emma waved until he was out of sight, and Jennifer noticed her daughter's expression was brighter than it had been in weeks. That night at dinner, Emma excitedly told her father, Michael Miller, a businessman who spent most of his time in meetings and work trips, about Noah. "Daddy, today I met a boy who said I can walk again if I think hard." Michael stopped chewing and looked at Jennifer with disapproval. "Jennifer, what's this about?" "It was just a child playing, Michael. It's nothing serious." "Of course it's serious. Emma doesn't need more illusions. She needs to accept reality and adapt. We're spending a fortune on physical therapy and treatments so she can develop within her limitations, not to feed fantasies." Emma lowered her head, and Jennifer felt anger rising in her chest. She was happy, Michael. It's been so long since I've seen our daughter smile like that. Happiness based on lies is worthless. Tomorrow you take her somewhere else. Jennifer didn't respond, but inside she had already decided she would return to Waterside Park. Seeing Emma so lively was worth any confrontation with her husband. The next day, Jennifer and Emma arrived at the park at the same time. Noah was already there playing near the swings and ran to them as soon as he saw them. "Emma, you came? Today I brought a new game." The boy pulled a set of colorful wooden blocks from his backpack. "This is the focus game. We're going to build a really tall tower, and you'll use the power of your mind to help me keep it from falling." Noah began stacking the blocks with exaggerated care, making funny, concentrated faces that made Emma laugh. With each block placed, he asked Emma to send strong thought energy to keep the tower standing. "Now, Emma, wiggle just your right pinky finger to send extra energy." Emma focused intensely, and to Jennifer's surprise, her finger moved almost imperceptibly. Jennifer thought she might have imagined it, but Noah celebrated as if he'd seen something extraordinary. "See? You did it! Now the tower will be super strong." The tower collapsed seconds later, but Noah treated it as part of the fun, and the two laughed together as they picked up the blocks. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us as we're just starting out. Now back to the story. Jennifer watched everything with a mix of skepticism and hope. The movement of Emma's finger could have just been an involuntary spasm, like the doctors always said, but seeing her daughter so engaged and happy made her wonder if there wasn't something more to it. In the following days, Jennifer and Emma established a routine of visiting the park. Noah always showed up with a new activity involving strong thoughts and small movements. He created elaborate stories where Emma was a princess who had to use mental powers to help the inhabitants of an imaginary kingdom. During one of these games, a woman in a lab coat approached. It was Samantha Roberts, the physical therapist from the clinic where Emma had been receiving treatment for 3 years. "Jennifer, what are you doing here?" Jennifer was startled. Samantha was a competent professional but extremely rigid in her methods. "Hi, Samantha. Emma just needed some fresh air." Samantha watched Noah interacting with Emma, and her expression darkened. "Who is this child? What is he doing?" "Just a little friend she made. They're playing." "Jennifer, you know it's not recommended to expose Emma to this kind of inappropriate stimulation. Giving her false hope could harm her psychological development." Noah, sensing the tension, stopped playing and looked at the two women. "Are you a doctor?" he asked Samantha innocently. "I'm a physical therapist, and you, young man, shouldn't be filling this girl's head with unrealistic ideas." "But they're not unrealistic. Your grandmother isn't a doctor," Samantha interrupted firmly. "Emma has a spinal cord injury. That means the connections between her brain and her legs are permanently damaged. No amount of strong thoughts can fix that." Emma began to cry silently. Noah looked confused and turned to Jennifer for an explanation. "Samantha, you didn't have to say it like that in front of them," Jennifer said, hugging Emma. "Yes, I did. As a healthcare professional, it's my duty to warn you about the risks of allowing this unscientific approach. If this continues, I'll have to report to the clinic's board that you're neglecting Emma's treatment." Samantha walked away, leaving a heavy atmosphere behind. Noah approached Emma and took her hand. "Don't be sad, Emma. The doctor doesn't understand about strong thinking because she only studied books. But we know it works, right?" Jennifer felt torn. On one hand, Samantha had technical knowledge and experience. On the other, Noah brought out a joy in Emma she hadn't seen in years. Was she being irresponsible by allowing this friendship? That night, Jennifer searched online about neuroplasticity and spinal cord injury recovery. She found some studies that talked about the power of emotional motivation in rehabilitation, but also read about the importance of keeping realistic expectations. She decided to talk to Michael about the situation, but he was more resistant than ever. "Jennifer, you're being influenced by a 5-year-old boy. This is ridiculous. Emma needs to focus on serious physical therapy, not games." "But she's happier, Michael. That has to count for something." "Happiness based on illusion is worse than sadness based on reality. You're going to stop these visits to the park, and that's final." Jennifer felt suffocated. All her life, she had always given in to Michael's decisions, especially after Emma's accident, when she felt too guilty to fight for anything. But now, seeing her daughter happy for the first time in years, something inside her rebelled. The next morning, while Michael was in a meeting, Jennifer took Emma to the park once more. Noah was there with his grandmother, a kind-looking woman who introduced herself as Ruth Peterson. "Are you Emma's mother?" asked Grandma Ruth. "Noah talks about her every day, says she's learning to be a warrior princess." Jennifer smiled despite her worry. "He's a very special boy. How is he so optimistic?" Grandma Ruth sighed, watching Noah play with Emma near the fountain. "Noah's been like this since he was little. When I had a stroke last year and lost movement on my right side, he made up games to help me with physical therapy. He said I just needed to think strong and move slowly. The doctors said I wouldn't regain movement, but Noah never gave up." "And you recovered?" "Almost completely. Of course, there was physical therapy, medication, all the medical treatment, but Noah gave me a motivation no medicine could. He made me believe it was possible. Jennifer felt a shiver. Maybe there was more to the boy's approach than just naivety. Grandma Ruth, can I ask, does Noah have a father? Grandma Ruth's face grew sad. I lost my daughter Rachel when Noah was 2. He doesn't remember her well, but he's always been a very sensitive child, very in tune with others' feelings. Sometimes I think he inherited something special from his mother. As they talked, Noah showed Emma how to send energy through their hands. He placed his tiny hands on Emma's legs and asked her to focus on feeling warmth. Do you feel anything? Noah asked. Emma closed her eyes and concentrated. I feel a tingling. Jennifer and Grandma Ruth exchanged glances. It could be Emma's imagination, but it could be something more. Noah beamed. That's the energy coming through. Now try moving just your big toe. Emma focused hard, and Jennifer clearly saw the right big toe twitch slightly. My God, Jennifer whispered. I did it! I did it! Emma shouted excitedly. Noah jumped for joy and hugged his friend. Grandma Ruth stepped closer and saw the movement too. Jennifer, did you see that? I did. But how is this possible? Grandma Ruth looked at her grandson fondly. Noah has a gift for awakening things in people. I can't quite explain it, but ever since my daughter passed away, he seems to have a special connection with those who are suffering. Jennifer felt both confused and emotional at the same time. She needed to understand better what was happening, but part of her feared it might just be a coincidence. When they got home, Emma excitedly told Michael about the movement in her big toe. Michael listened with a stern face and then called Jennifer aside for a private talk. Jennifer, this has to stop now. Emma is developing an unhealthy obsession. She'll only get frustrated when she realizes she won't be able to walk. Michael, you didn't see it. Her toe really moved. Moved? Or did you just want to see it move? Jennifer, you're so desperate you're seeing things that aren't there. I'm not imagining it, and even if it was just a spasm, Emma is happy. When was the last time you saw our daughter truly happy? Michael grew irritated. Happiness doesn't cure paralysis, Jennifer. You're being irresponsible. If you keep this up, I'll forbid you from taking Emma out of the house. You can't do that. Yes, I can. I'm her father and the head of this family. Tomorrow you're canceling the visits to the park, and that's final. Jennifer spent the night sleepless, torn between the obedience she'd always shown her husband and the certainty that she was seeing real progress in Emma. By morning, she made a decision that surprised even herself. For the first time in 15 years of marriage, she would defy Michael. She waited until he left for work and secretly took Emma to the park. Noah was waiting for them with a new idea. Emma, today we're going to play the thought race game. Close your eyes and imagine you're running with me. I'll describe everything we see along the way. Emma closed her eyes and Noah began narrating an imaginary race through the park. He talked about colorful birds, the scent of flowers, the sound of the fountain. Emma smiled and swayed as if she were really running. Now we're going up a little hill, Noah said. You'll need to push harder with your legs. Can you feel them getting stronger? Emma concentrated intensely, and suddenly her right leg had a more noticeable spasm. This time it wasn't just her toe. Her whole leg moved slightly. Jennifer covered her mouth, overwhelmed. A woman jogging in the park stopped when she saw the scene. Excuse me, I don't mean to intrude, but I'm an adapted physical education teacher. I saw the girl's movement. Are you doing any specific physical therapy? Jennifer explained the situation, and the teacher, who introduced herself as Megan Wilson, looked intrigued. Can I suggest something? How about we document these moments? If there really is progress, it would be good to record it to show the doctors. Jennifer hesitated. If she filmed it and showed Michael and the doctors, they couldn't deny what was happening. But if she didn't document it, no one would believe her. All right, but please, be discreet. Megan began discreetly filming Noah's games with Emma. Within minutes, she captured 3 more involuntary movements in the girl's legs, always during moments of deep concentration and emotional engagement. This is incredible, Megan murmured. "I'll send this video to a neurologist colleague. He needs to see this." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us as we're just starting out. Now continuing. When Jennifer and Emma got home, Michael was already there earlier than usual. His face was red with anger. "Where were you?" Jennifer tried to lie, but Emma innocently told him about their trip to the park and the movements she'd managed to make. "Jennifer," Michael shouted, "I can't believe you disobeyed me." "Michael, please, let me explain." "There's nothing to explain. You're harming our daughter with these fantasies. Emma, go to your room, now." Emma started crying and was pushed in her wheelchair to the bedroom. Michael turned to Jennifer with a fury she had never seen before. "This ends today, Jennifer. You'll stop this madness right now. And if I find out you took Emma to see that boy again, I'll file for divorce and seek full custody." "You can't do that." "Oh, I can. I have the financial means to prove you're neglecting our daughter's medical treatment. No judge will leave Emma with a mother who prefers games over proper medicine." Jennifer felt threatened and scared. Michael had never been violent, but he'd also never been so cold. That night, she cried silently, torn between the fear of losing her daughter and the certainty that she was seeing real progress. The next morning, Michael hired a nanny to stay with Emma while Jennifer went grocery shopping or handled other errands. It was his way of controlling her without seeming overly authoritarian. The nanny, a young woman named Ashley, was kind but had strict orders from Michael not to leave the house with Emma. Jennifer felt like a prisoner in her own home. 3 days passed without Emma seeing Noah. The girl was depressed, refusing to eat and plagued by nightmares. She cried, begging to see her friend and asking if she'd done something wrong. "Mum, why can't I play with Noah anymore? He'll think I don't like him now." Jennifer didn't know how to respond. She lied, saying it was just for a few days, but she watched her daughter wither by the hour. Then the doorbell rang. It was Grandma Ruth, Noah's grandmother, holding the boy's hand. "Mrs. Miller, Noah's very worried about Emma. It's been 3 days since they've seen each other. Is something wrong?" Jennifer glanced at Ashley, who clearly didn't know what to do. She decided to let Grandma Ruth in to talk. "Noah, where's Emma?" the boy asked, looking around. "She's in her room, sweetheart. She's not feeling well. Can I see her? I brought a new potion to make her feel better." Noah held up a small bottle of orange juice he decorated with colorful drawings. "Noah, I'm afraid Emma can't leave the house right now. Her dad thinks that your games aren't good for her." Noah's eyes filled with tears. "But why? We're just playing, and Emma was getting stronger." Grandma Ruth knelt beside her grandson and hugged him. "Sometimes adults get scared, Noah. They don't understand that the heart can help the body heal." Jennifer was moved by the woman's words and Noah's genuine sadness. "Grandma Ruth, I'd love to let them see each other, but my husband—" "I understand, dear. But may I ask, have you seen any progress in Emma during this time?" Jennifer hesitated, glanced at Ashley, and decided to be honest. "Yes, movements she hasn't made in years, but the doctors say they're just involuntary spasms. And what do you think?" I think Noah awakens something special in her, but I'm afraid I might be fooling myself." Grandma Ruth smiled gently. "Jennifer, when I had my stroke, the doctors said I'd have permanent damage. Not that they were wrong, the injury was there. But Noah gave me a strength to fight that no medicine could. Medicine heals the body, but sometimes it's the heart that gives the body the strength to heal." Just then, Emma appeared in the living room, slowly pushing her own wheelchair. "Noah!" she shouted, overjoyed. "Emma!" Noah ran to her. "I brought a magic potion for you. It's orange juice with strong thought energy." Emma took a sip and smiled for the first time in days. Ashley watched everything unfold, unsure whether to intervene. "Noah, I missed our games," said Emma. "Me too. Let's play right here. Want to try the energy hands game?" Noah placed his hands over Emma's and asked her to focus on feeling warmth. A few seconds later, Emma moved her fingers voluntarily. Ashley's eyes widened. She moved her fingers on purpose." Jennifer was moved. It was the first time someone outside the family had witnessed Emma's movements. "Noah, how do you do this?" I don't do anything. Emma is the special one. She just needed someone to believe in her. Grandma Ruth looked at Jennifer affectionately. Dear, you have a difficult decision to make. You can choose between fear and hope. Both are valid, but only one will help your daughter. That afternoon, after Grandma Ruth and Noah left, Jennifer reflected deeply on her choices. Ashley, who had witnessed everything, offered to talk to Michael and share what she saw. Mrs. Miller, I've been working with children for 5 years. I've never seen anything like what happened here today. I think Mr. Michael should know. Jennifer felt nervous, but also hopeful. Maybe Michael would change his mind if someone neutral confirmed Emma's progress. When Michael got home, Ashley asked to speak with him privately. Jennifer waited anxiously in the kitchen, trying to overhear the conversation. Mr. Michael, today I saw something very interesting. Emma moved her fingers voluntarily when that boy, Noah, was playing with her. Michael sighed, irritated. Ashley, you're young and don't understand the situation. These kids create illusions together. Emma has always had involuntary muscle spasms. But sir, this time was different. She said she was going to move her fingers, and she did. It was intentional. Ashley, I pay you to take care of my daughter, not to give medical opinions. Please stick to your duties. Ashley felt uncomfortable, but didn't press further. When Michael called Jennifer to talk, she already knew the conversation with the nanny hadn't worked. Jennifer, Ashley said you let that boy into our house. That's unacceptable. Michael, she saw Emma move voluntarily. A neutral person confirmed what I've been saying. A 20-year-old nanny isn't a reliable witness for medical matters. Jennifer, you need to stop this obsession. Emma isn't going to walk, and you feeding false hopes is only hurting her. What if they're not false hopes? What if there really is a chance? There is no chance. The best neurologists in the country have already confirmed it. Emma's injury is irreversible. Tears welled in Jennifer's eyes. Michael, when was the last time you really talked to our daughter? When did you ask how she feels? I talk to Emma every day. You ask about her day, her homework, her doctor's appointments. But when did you ask about her dreams, what makes her happy? Michael fell silent for a moment. Jennifer, dreams don't cure paralysis, but they can give reasons to keep fighting. That night, Michael went to Emma's room to say goodnight. The girl was gazing out the window, melancholy. Emma, how was your day? Sad, Daddy. I miss Noah. Sweetheart, you need to understand, Noah can't really help you. Only doctors can do that. Emma looked at her father with sorrowful eyes. Daddy, why don't you believe me? What do you mean, honey? When I say I moved my fingers with Noah, you say it's not true. Why don't you believe me? Michael felt uneasy. He'd never considered this perspective. It's not that I don't believe you, Emma. I just don't want you to get hurt by false hope. But Daddy, I'm not fooling myself. I felt my fingers move. I told them to move, and they obeyed. Michael didn't know how to respond. He kissed his daughter's forehead and left the room confused. The next morning, Michael arrived at the office earlier than usual, trying to distract himself with work. But he couldn't stop thinking about the conversation with Emma. His secretary, Barbara, a woman in her 60s who had worked with him for over a decade, noticed he was troubled. Mr. Michael, can I help with anything? You seem worried. Michael hesitated but decided to open up. Barbara had always been a trustworthy confidant. Barbara, you have children, right? I have 3, Mr. Michael, all grown now. What did you do when they had unrealistic dreams? Barbara smiled. Unrealistic how? Michael told her about the situation with Emma and Noah. Barbara listened carefully. Mr. Michael, may I give my opinion? Of course. When my youngest was 8, he had severe pneumonia. He was hospitalized for 2 weeks. The doctors did what they could, but he was discouraged, didn't even want to try to recover. Then a clown visited the hospital. That man made my son laugh for the first time in weeks. The next day, my boy was breathing better, eating properly, cooperating with treatment. And your point is? The point is, sometimes medicine treats the body but forgets the soul. My son needed hope to fight. The clown didn't cure the pneumonia, but he gave him the will to heal. Michael fell silent, processing Barbara's words. But what if Emma gets frustrated when she realizes she won't walk? What if she does? Or at least, what if she achieves something the doctors said was impossible? Michael spent the whole day thinking about the conversation. When he got home, he found Jennifer preparing dinner quietly. Emma was in the living room, flipping through a book without much interest. "Jennifer, I need to tell you something." Jennifer stopped chopping vegetables and looked at her husband. "I talked to Barbara today. She said something that made me think." Michael recounted the conversation and admitted he might have been too rigid. "Jennifer, I'm scared. Scared of seeing Emma suffer if she gets her hopes up and fails." "Michael, have you seen Emma suffering these past 3 days? Ever since she stopped seeing Noah, she barely eats, barely speaks, has nightmares. Maybe the pain of having no hope is worse than the risk of disappointment." Michael looked at his daughter in the living room. She really was withdrawn. "What do you think we should do?" "I think we should give it a chance. We don't have to abandon medicine, but we can let Emma have this friendship. If there's real progress, we'll document it and show the doctors. If not, at least she'll be happy." Michael took a deep breath. "All right, but with conditions. We'll film everything, document every movement, and if the doctors say it's harming Emma, we stop immediately." Jennifer got emotional and hugged her husband. It was the first time they'd agreed on Emma's treatment since the accident. The next morning, Jennifer called Grandma Ruth and invited Noah over for lunch. Michael made sure to be there to observe the interactions himself. Noah arrived with a gift for Emma, a notebook he'd decorated himself, where she could record all the progress of their strong mind training. "Emma, this notebook is magic. Every time you achieve something new, we'll write it here. When the notebook is full, you'll be walking again." Michael watched the genuine joy in his daughter's eyes and wondered how he'd taken so long to see how much she'd been suffering without this friendship. During lunch, Noah talked about his life with Grandma Ruth, how he helped his grandmother with her recovery, and about other friends he made along the way. "Uncle Michael, do you want to see how Emma can move her fingers?" Michael hesitated, but nodded, yes. Noah asked Emma to concentrate and imagine she was playing the piano. To Michael's surprise, she moved 4 fingers on her right hand in sequence. How did she do that?" Noah smiled. "Emma is very brave. She just needed someone to believe in her." Michael filmed the scene, and that afternoon, he took the video to Dr. Richard Thompson, the neurologist who had been treating Emma for 2 years. "Doctor, I want you to see this." Dr. Richard watched the video carefully and asked to see it a few times. "Michael, this is interesting. The movement does seem voluntary. How is this possible? You said the injury was irreversible, and it is. But maybe the neural connections are finding alternative pathways. This is extremely rare, but not impossible. The brain has an adaptive capacity we don't fully understand yet." "What does this mean?" "It means we should investigate further. I'll order some new tests and want to observe Emma personally during her interactions with the boy." Michael left the office with a mix of hope and confusion. For 3 years, the doctors had been adamant about the impossibility of recovery. Now, for the first time, there was a glimmer of optimism. When he got home, he found Noah and Emma in the garden. The boy had set up a path with cushions on the ground and was teaching Emma to drive her wheelchair with the power of her mind. "Now, Emma, imagine your legs are the wheels of the chair. They'll take you wherever you want to go." Emma concentrated and managed to move the wheelchair straight to the end of the path. When she stopped, they both celebrated, as if she had won a race. Michael approached and knelt beside his daughter. "Emma, how do you feel when you play with Noah?" "I feel strong, Dad. Like I can do things I thought I couldn't anymore." "And does that make you happy?" "So happy. Noah reminds me that I'm still me, even in the wheelchair." Michael looked at Noah affectionately. "Noah, thank you for being Emma's friend." "No problem, Uncle Michael. Emma is my best friend, and she'll walk again, you'll see." Michael didn't have the heart to contradict the boy. For the first time in years, he was starting to believe it might be possible. In the following days, Dr. Richard visited the Miller family home to observe the interactions between Noah and Emma. He was impressed by Emma's level of concentration during their games and the consistency of her voluntary movements. "Michael, Jennifer, I'll be honest with you. In 30 years of practice, I've never seen a case like this. Emma is demonstrating motor control that should be impossible with her type of injury." "What does this mean, doctor?" Jennifer asked. "It means we may need to rethink her treatment. I'll consult some colleagues who specialize in neuroplasticity. It's possible emotional motivation is creating new neural connections." Dr. Richard turned to Noah. "Noah, can I ask how you learned to do these games?" "I didn't learn, Uncle Doctor. I just talk to people and see what they need. Emma needed someone to believe in her." "And how did you know that?" Noah thought for a moment. "My mom taught me before she left. She said everyone has a light inside, but sometimes it gets dim and needs help to shine again." Dr. Richard was moved by the boy's words. "Your mother was a very wise woman. Over the next few weeks, Emma underwent a series of new tests. The results surprised the entire medical team. There were signs of neural activity in areas that were previously completely inactive. Dr. Richard called a meeting with Michael and Jennifer to discuss the findings. The tests show that Emma is developing new neural pathways. It's an extremely rare process, but it's happening. I believe intense emotional motivation is stimulating neuroplasticity in a way we didn't expect." "Does this mean she could fully recover?" Michael asked. "I can't promise that, but I can say she's already recovered far more than any medical prognosis predicted. I'll recommend continuing the activities with Noah, but we should also intensify conventional physical therapy to take advantage of this neural development phase." Jennifer and Michael left the office moved and hopeful. For the first time in 3 years, they had a real prospect of improvement. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now continuing. Samantha Roberts, the physical therapist who initially criticized Noah's approach, asked to speak with the family after learning about the test results. "Michael, Jennifer, I owe you an apology. As a professional, I was always trained to focus only on evidence-based medicine, but now I'm seeing proof that the emotional aspect can be just as important as the physical." "Samantha, you were just doing your job," Jennifer said. "No one could have predicted this." "I'd like to propose something. What if we integrate Noah's playtime with specific physical therapy exercises? We can use the motivation he sparks in Emma to enhance conventional treatment." The proposal was enthusiastically accepted. Noah was thrilled when he learned he'd be Emma's official therapy partner. During the integrated sessions, Noah made up stories where Emma was a warrior who needed to strengthen different muscles to complete heroic missions. Samantha used the narratives to introduce targeted rehabilitation exercises. "Emma, now the warrior princess needs to lift the magic shield," Noah would say. "And to lift the shield, you need to strengthen your arm muscles like this," Samantha added, guiding the therapeutic movement. Progress accelerated impressively. In 2 weeks, Emma regained movement in 3 fingers of her left hand. Within a month, she could move both arms with better coordination. News of the progress spread through the rehabilitation clinic, and other professionals began taking interest in the case. Dr. Richard suggested the family allow other patients to join Noah's sessions. Noah has a natural talent for motivating people. Maybe he can help other children too. Noah was excited by the idea of helping more friends. Grandma Ruth, however, was concerned. "Noah, are you sure you want this responsibility? So many children will depend on you." "Grandma, you taught me that when we can help, we should, and I can help." The clinic launched a pilot program called Integrated Therapy, where Noah visited 3 times a week to work with different children in rehabilitation. The results were astonishing in nearly every case. A girl with cerebral palsy who hadn't spoken in 2 years said her first words during a game with Noah. A boy who lost motor coordination after an accident managed to hold a pencil again. The program caught the attention of doctors from other cities. Dr. Richard was invited to present the case at a neurology conference in Chicago. "Colleagues, what we're seeing in Denver challenges many of our concepts about neurological rehabilitation. Emotional motivation seems to have a therapeutic power we've underestimated for far too long. Meanwhile, Emma kept making progress. 3 months after her first meeting with Noah, she managed to move both legs intentionally. "Noah, look!" Emma shouted, moving her legs from the wheelchair. "I knew you could do it. Now it won't be long before we can run together for real." Michael watched the scene with tears in his eyes. The man who 3 months earlier had threatened to forbid the friendship was now moved by every step of his daughter's progress. "Jennifer, you were right," he said to his wife. "I almost destroyed our daughter's chance at recovery out of fear." "Michael, you were protecting her the only way you knew how. No one could have imagined this would happen, but there were still challenges ahead." Emma had regained movement, but walking still seemed far off. Her leg muscles were too weak after years of inactivity. Noah, sensing his friend's frustration, came up with a new game. "Emma, now we're going to play Magic Strengthening. Each day, you'll try to stand for 1 second longer. When you reach 60 seconds, you'll take your first step." The idea was simple but effective. Emma started by trying to stand for 5 seconds, leaning on the chair. Gradually, she managed 10, 15, 20 seconds. Samantha developed specific exercises to strengthen Emma's leg muscles, always integrated with Noah's games. Progress was slow but steady. 2 months later, Emma managed to stand for a full minute. Noah celebrated as if she'd won an Olympic medal. "Now all that's left is the first step," he said excitedly. "I'm scared, Noah. What if I can't do it?" Noah held his friend's hands. "Emma, remember when we first met?" "I do. You were sad and thought you'd never be able to do anything again. Look how far you've come. The first step is just one more thing you'll manage." Emma smiled but still felt unsure. Walking seemed like such a distant dream. Then something unexpected happened. During one of Noah's visits to the clinic, Grandma Ruth suddenly felt ill and fainted in the waiting room. Noah was frantic. Grandma, wake up!" The doctors quickly attended to Grandma Ruth and took her to an emergency room. Noah was left alone in the waiting room crying. Emma, who was in a physical therapy session, heard her friend crying and asked to go comfort him. Samantha wheeled her to the waiting room. "Noah, what happened?" "My grandma fainted. The doctors took her and wouldn't let me go with her. I'm scared she'll leave like my mum did." Emma felt a pang in her chest seeing her friend so upset. Noah was always cheerful, always comforting everyone. Seeing him like this made her want to do something. "Noah, come here." Emma stretched out her arms, and Noah stepped closer for a hug. But something extraordinary happened. Emma, driven by the urgent need to comfort her friend, stood up from the chair without realizing it and hugged him while standing. Samantha was the first to notice. "Emma, you're standing." Emma looked down and realized what she'd done. She was standing, unsupported, hugging Noah. "Noah, I'm standing! I'm standing!" Noah stopped crying and looked at his friend in amazement. "Emma, you did it. I knew you could." Just then, Dr. Richard came out of the room where he'd been treating Grandma Ruth. "Noah, your grandmother is fine. It was just a spike in blood pressure. She's awake now and—" He stopped when he saw Emma standing. "My goodness, Emma, you're standing." The news spread quickly through the clinic. Nurses, doctors, and other patients came to see Emma's miracle. But Emma still couldn't take a single step. Standing up had already taken all her energy, and she had to sit back down in the chair. "I couldn't walk," she said, disappointed. "Emma, you stood up all by yourself," said Noah. "That's the hardest step. The others will be easier now." Dr. Richard Thompson examined Emma immediately. The muscles in her legs had responded exceptionally well to the emotional stimulus. "Emma, what did you feel when you stood up?" "I felt that Noah needed me. I didn't think about walking, I just thought about helping him." Dr. Richard wrote everything down in the file. It was more evidence that emotional motivation was the key factor in Emma's recovery. Grandma Ruth had fully recovered from the blood pressure spike, but the scare made Noah realize she was getting older and needed more care. "Grandma, now I'm going to take care of you, like you took care of me." "Noah, you already take care of me every day, my angel. Just by existing, you take care of my heart." The experience of almost losing Grandma Ruth made Noah grow up a little. He started dividing his time between helping Emma and caring for his grandmother. Emma, in turn, was determined to walk before Noah's 6th birthday, which was in 2 months. "I want to take my first steps as a gift for him," she told her parents. Michael and Jennifer supported their daughter but tried not to create unnecessary pressure. Progress had to be natural, on Emma's own time. Over the following weeks, Emma trained tirelessly. She could stand for longer periods, but taking that first step still seemed impossible. Noah created a special song for Emma to sing during her training. Think strong, your feet will carry you. Think strong, Emma will walk." The song became Emma's training anthem. She sang it softly every time she tried to take a step. 2 weeks before Noah's birthday, Emma managed to lift 1 foot off the ground for a few seconds, but she still couldn't shift her weight and take a full step. "You're almost there, Emma," Noah encouraged. "Your feet already remember how to walk. They just need a little more courage. I'm scared of falling. If you fall, I'll help you up. And if I fall, you help me. That's what friends do." During the week of Noah's birthday, Emma felt anxious and frustrated. She had come so far, but that first step still hadn't happened. "Mum, what if I can't walk by Noah's birthday? He'll be sad." "Emma, Noah is already happy with everything you've achieved. You don't have to walk to be special to him." "But I want to do it. It's been his dream since we met." Jennifer hugged her daughter, moved by her determination. On Noah's birthday, the Miller family threw a party at the park where it all began. Grandma Ruth was there, along with Samantha, Dr. Richard, and several other children Noah had helped at the clinic. Noah was beaming, but Emma seemed nervous. She had brought a special gift, a photo album of all the moments of their friendship, from their first meeting to their latest progress. "Noah, this gift tells our story," Emma said, handing him the album. Noah flipped through the pages tenderly, reliving each special moment. "Emma, this is the most beautiful gift I've ever received. Our friendship is the most important thing in my life." During the party, the children played and had fun. Emma joined in some games from her wheelchair but didn't try to stand. It seemed she had given up on walking that day. When it was time to sing Happy Birthday, everyone gathered around the cake. Noah made a wish and blew out the candles. "What did you wish for?" Emma asked. "I wished for my mom to watch over Grandma in heaven, for Grandma to stay healthy here with me, and for you to always be happy, whether you walk or not." Emma was deeply moved by her friend's words. Noah had never pressured her to walk. He loved her exactly as she was. In that moment of overwhelming emotion, Emma felt an inner strength she had never experienced before. It wasn't the strength of muscles or determination. It was the strength of true love. Without warning anyone, Emma stood up from her chair and took a timid step toward Noah. The entire party froze. Everyone watched in silence as Emma took a second step, then a third. "Noah, I'm walking," Emma said, tears in her eyes. Noah ran toward her, and the two met halfway, embracing as Emma remained standing. "Emma, you did it! I knew you could." Everyone at the party began crying with emotion. Michael filmed everything, his hands shaking. Jennifer couldn't stop crying. Grandma Ruth murmured prayers of gratitude. Dr. Richard Thompson stood speechless. In 40 years of medicine, he had never witnessed anything so extraordinary. Emma took a few more steps, cautious but determined. She walked toward her parents, then toward Grandma Ruth, and finally back to Noah. "Now we can really run together," Emma said, smiling. "Yeah, but let's take it slow at first," Noah laughed. "You just learned to walk again. Running can wait till next week." The party turned into a double celebration, Noah's birthday and Emma's first steps. In the days that followed, the story spread quickly. Journalists wanted to interview the family, doctors wanted to study the case, and other families with children with disabilities sought out Noah for help. But Michael and Jennifer decided to protect their children's privacy. They only allowed Dr. Richard to document the case for scientific purposes. "Their friendship is too special to turn into a spectacle," Michael said. Noah and Emma remained best friends. Emma still used her wheelchair for long distances, but she walked more and for longer periods. 6 months after those first steps, she managed to run slowly. Noah ran beside her, always patient, always encouraging. The clinic's integrated therapy program expanded, and Noah became a kind of volunteer junior therapist, helping other children find motivation in their recovery. Grandma Ruth, proud of her grandson, began writing a book about their experience. She wanted to leave a record that sometimes love is the best medicine. Dr. Richard published Emma's case in an international medical journal, drawing attention to the power of emotional motivation in neurological rehabilitation. Samantha developed a new physical therapy method that integrated emotional and playful aspects into conventional treatment. Michael became a more present and attentive father, learning that sometimes being wrong is an opportunity to grow. Jennifer discovered an inner strength she never knew she had, and that fighting for her children could move mountains. 2 years after their first meeting in the park, Noah and Emma, now both 7, participated in children's races at school. Emma still wasn't the fastest, but she was undoubtedly the most determined. "Noah, thank you for never giving up on me," Emma said after one of the races. "Emma, I'm the one who should thank you. You taught me that being strong isn't about never falling, it's about always getting back up." They ran home hand in hand, finally living out the race they had imagined so many times in the early months of their friendship. Grandma Ruth watched them from the window, tears of gratitude in her eyes. Noah had inherited the best of his mother, the ability to see light where others only saw darkness. And Emma had proven that sometimes the impossible is just a matter of finding the right motivation to try. Waterside Park received a special plaque honoring the friendship of Noah and Emma. Sometimes thinking strong is all we need to pick ourselves up. End of story. Now tell me, what did you think of this touching story? Did you get goosebumps like Emma when she took her first steps? If you know someone who needs strength and hope, share this story. Leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments which part moved you the most.